Imagine depending on every dollar from your Social Security check, and suddenly, you're told the government can't even tell you how much more you'll get next year. That's what millions of retirees might face right now. Look at this. Seniors may have to wait to see what 2026 Social Security COLA is due to shut down. Because of the ongoing government shutdown, the 2026 Social Security COLA, the cost of living adjustment, could be delayed. And that delay isn't just about numbers on paper, it's about real people waiting to find out whether they can afford groceries, rent, or their next prescription refill in 2026. Stay with me because in this video, we'll break down why the COLA announcement could be postponed, how rising Medicare costs might wipe out your raise, and what this all means for your wallet. But before we dive deeper, what if I told you this delay has happened before and it didn't end well for retirees? Let's talk about that. Every October, retirees wait for one big piece of news. How much will my Social Security check increase next year? But this year, things might not go as planned. The Social Security Administration was expected to announce the 2026 COLA on October 15th, right after the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, releases the September inflation report. However, with the federal government currently in shutdown mode, over 2,000 BLS employees have been furloughed. That means no economic reports, including the crucial inflation data used to calculate next year's COLA. So, if the shutdown drags on, the September inflation numbers could be delayed. And without that data, the COLA can't officially be calculated or announced. And here's the real twist. The shutdown isn't just delaying paperwork. It might be hiding something much bigger about inflation itself. Now, you might be thinking, wait, won't they eventually release the data? Yes. And here's the good news. The inflation data itself has already been collected. Mary Johnson, a respected analyst who tracks Social Security and Medicare trends, says the shutdown won't change the numbers, but it can delay when they're made public. So the delay is more about bureaucracy than math. But for seniors on tight budgets, even a few weeks of uncertainty can cause major anxiety. It's not just about waiting for news. It's about trying to plan your life when prices keep rising and your income might only go up by a few dollars. But here's the part no one's talking about. This delay could also impact when you find out your new Medicare premium. And that's where things get expensive. Fast. Will Social Security payments stop? Let's clear this up right now. Even if the government stays shut down, Social Security payments will continue. That's because Social Security is funded through a permanent trust, not through Congress's yearly budget battles. So retirees will still get their monthly benefits, even while federal offices are closed. The only thing being delayed is the announcement of how much your benefits will go up next year. But while your payments continue, there's another ticking clock Washington isn't mentioning. It's about when the trust funds run out. We'll get to that in a moment. When was the last time this happened? If this sounds familiar, that's because it's happened before. The last and only time the COLA announcement was delayed was in October 2013, when another government shutdown lasted 16 days. Back then, the September inflation report was supposed to come out on October 16th, but it didn't get released until October 30th. And when it finally did, retirees learned their 2014 COLA was just 1.5%. Once again, history might be repeating itself, and seniors are the ones caught in the middle. But here's what's scary. 2013's shutdown lasted just 16 days. What happens if this one drags on for weeks or months? Let's find out. What the 2026 COLA could be. On more. Don't miss it. So, what can seniors expect this time around? According to the latest inflation data through August, the 2026 COLA is projected to be around 2.8%, slightly higher than earlier estimates of 2.7%. That might sound okay at first, but let's break it down. The average Social Security benefit right now is about $1,865 per month. A 2.8% increase would mean roughly $52 more per month, or about $624 more per year. Sounds decent, right? Well, before you celebrate, wait till you see what Medicare is about to do next. The Medicare impact. While seniors wait for the COLA news, there's another storm brewing: Medicare costs. The Medicare trustees report earlier this year projected that the standard Part B premium could jump from $185 to $206.50 per month in 2026. That's a $21.50 increase, one of the biggest jumps in program history, nearly breaking the 2022 record. So, while you might get a $52 COLA increase, nearly half of that could be gone instantly just to cover Medicare Part B. And it doesn't stop there. Prescription drug plan, Part D, premiums are also expected to rise sharply. Freestanding drug plans could go up by as much as $50 a month, compared to about $35 this year. In other words, your raise might disappear before it even hits your bank account. And if you think that's bad, the next section will make you question whether COLA even matters anymore. How seniors are reacting. Many retirees are frustrated, and rightfully so. People who've worked their entire lives are now realizing that their cost of living raises don't keep up with real inflation. Mary Johnson, the same policy expert, says she's been hearing from seniors across the country, and the stress and anger levels are at an all-time high. Between rising rents, food prices, and healthcare costs, even a 3% COLA feels meaningless when Medicare and prescriptions eat it up immediately. Some retirees say they're cutting back on groceries or skipping medications just to make ends meet. That's how serious this is becoming. But here's what really hurts. This entire situation could have been avoided. Let's look at what's going on behind the scenes in Washington. Why this year is different. This year's COLA delay feels heavier because it comes during a deep political and economic divide in Washington. The shutdown isn't just about budgets anymore. It's about control, debt, and long-term spending priorities. But the people caught in the middle are America's seniors. Those who've paid into Social Security their entire lives are now being forced to wait, just to find out if they'll have enough to cover their bills next year. And when you hear what could happen next if the shutdown drags on, you'll realize this might be just the beginning. What to expect next? Here's what will likely happen. If the government reopens soon, the Bureau of Labor Statistics will release the delayed inflation report, and the Social Security Administration will immediately announce the 2026 COLA. If the shutdown drags on, the delay could stretch for weeks, just like it did in 2013. But either way, Social Security checks will keep arriving, and once the data is officially released, seniors will finally know their 2026 adjustment. But that next announcement could come with a shock, not just about COLA, but about the future of Medicare premiums. Stay tuned till the end. Quick summary: Social Security payments will continue. The 2026 COLA announcement may be delayed due to the shutdown. The expected increase is around 2.8%, or about $52 a month. Rising Medicare and prescription costs could erase much of that gain. For millions of retirees, that means another year of tight budgets and tough choices, while Washington argues over funding and politics. If you depend on Social Security or Medicare, make sure you stay informed. Subscribe to Elyze USA, where we cover every update on COLA changes, Medicare costs, and retirement news that directly affects your future. And if you're worried about these rising costs, drop a comment below. Tell me, do you think a 2.8% COLA is enough for 2026? Because the real question isn't how big the raise is, it's whether it's enough to keep up with the cost of living in America today. And in our next video, we'll uncover how a single Medicare change could cut into your Social Security check.